Hi, I'm Mark from L&M Small Engine. Today we're working on a Generac CW20 water pump. The only way it will try to run is if the choke is on and it sputters for a little bit and dies. So we'll see if we can't get this thing running like new again. So hope you enjoy the video. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and take the air filter assembly off. And on this cage that goes around this water pump, we gotta take these two nuts off to take this air filter base off. We might have to unbolt the motor off this box frame because I don't know if that will be able to slide off there or not. But as you can tell, this thing must have sat out in the weather too, because the top of this air filter is all rusty where water was sitting on there. See where the water was sitting on top of that air filter? Okay, we got a 10mm bolt up here and these two nuts here to take this air filter base off. But like I said, we might have to take the motor off out of this cage because I don't know if it's going to be able to slide out of here or not. There's a vent tube over on this side over here. I'll have to slide off. It's a vent tube that goes to the valve cover. There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna be able to get that out of there, so we're gonna take these four bolts loose that hold the motor onto this frame. There's two right here and two on the other side, so I'll go ahead and pop them off real quick and we'll get back to work on this pump. Okay, I got all the bolts out. I'm just gonna slide this back just a little bit so we can get this cover off. And now we can get to work on the carburetor. So we'll go ahead and unhook the fuel line here, and we're just going to go ahead and drain the gas out of this tank because more than likely there's water in it too. Drain the gas, blow it out real good. So when we get the carburetor all clean, we'll have fresh gas, fresh clean gas going into the carburetor. Got a little pan here to catch the fuel. And we'll slide the carburetor out just a little bit here. And we'll go and hook the governor linkage. This slides up, and we'll take this governor spring off. And the carburetor will slide right on out of there. And I can already start seeing in the bottom of the gas there's bubbles of water in there, because the water's heavier than gas. It always sits down at the bottom. So we'll let that drain, and I'm going to go ahead and clean the outside off of the carburetor, and we'll go ahead and tear it apart. Okay, I kind of cleaned the outside off a little bit with the carburetor cleaner. But we'll go ahead and take the bowl off. That's a 10 millimeter. Don't look that bad. There's a little water in there. I'm going to go ahead and get the float out of there. And right here, it's like a sediment bowl. Right, the gas will come in here, and like the water will hopefully separate from the gas because the water is heavier than the gas. We'll just go ahead and pop that off. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna boil this out. Make sure it's nice and good and clean. There's a rubber O-ring in here too, so make sure you don't lose that. There's that O-ring right there. There's a little bit of junk in the bottom of that. Not too bad. And right under here, there's a pilot jet right here. We gotta take this idling screw out. And this one here has a cap on it. So you just take a little screwdriver. And just pop that cap off, and you can use a Phillips or whatever to screw that out. And before you screw it out, kind of see how far it's sticking out of the other side. So when we screw this back together, you kind of get an idea on how far to do it. But you can always adjust it once you get it running. And this pilot jet's right here, and you just take a pair of needle nose. Just kind of pop underneath there and just lift it up. Then there's a hole here, and a hole here, and a little hole here. You just cover this side up with your finger and spray carburetor clear this hole, and there should be a fine stream. And you can see that one's clogged up. So I'll grab some wire here. This is like off of an end of a flywheel brake cable. I need to unroll it, and you got some nice fine wires, but you just stick that in that hole and clean it out. And we'll cover that one side up again. And you can see that little fine mist jet stream of carburetor cleaner coming out of there. That means you got it nice and clear. So that's all ready to go back in the carburetor after we boil it out. And I use an ultrasonic cleaner if you don't have access to one of them regular carburetor cleaner dipping. Something like that works just as great too, or just a regular can of carburetor cleaner, you know. If you just do it with carburetor cleaner, there's a jet right down here. You blow in there and you'll see gas come out that venturi tube in the center back there. That way you know that main jet's open. But I don't like people bringing stuff back here, so I just pretty much boil out every carburetor that comes in here, so I know it's good when it leaves. So we'll go ahead and to the boiler now. Okay, we'll grab the carburetor in the bowl. And we'll go ahead and plop them in there. And this carburetor ain't that bad, so we'll probably only set it for 15 minutes. Like I said, when that thing's done, it's going to come out all nice and clean. So when this stage is done, we'll go back over and put the carburetor together. Okay, we got it all boiled out and everything. So when you clean it off after you out of the boiler, there's that main jet in there. Make sure that blows through and comes out of that tube right there. And on your pilot jet, make sure you blow in that hole right there and cover the other side, and a fine mist will come out of that there. That means that's not plugged up. So we'll go ahead and pop this back in here, and the flat sides go like this, so it sets in there like that. Then we'll take this idle screw, and we'll kind of screw it to where it was. And like I said, after you get it running, you can fine tune it. I believe it was about right there on this one. And we'll put that, well, I guess you'll have to put that cap on until after you get it fine tuned and everything. So on this sediment bowl, if that O-ring is tore or anything, replace it. And make sure your Bowl's nice and clean. And you want to make these snug, but don't over tighten them, because I've seen them where people over tighten it. And where this nuts molded on there, it actually breaks that loose and tears it open. So now I'm not putting a kit in this one. I'm just putting all the old gaskets in it because everything looks good. Get that pressed in there and place in that little groove. And check the rubber on your needle. Make sure it's not swelled up or deformed. We'll take our little pin here. Get it all lined up like that. Then on this like drain hole here, this will go up against the motor like this, so make sure that's like in a place where you can get to it so you can drain the gas out. That little bolt on the side there. And the carburetor should be all ready to go now. Our next step will be is putting it back on the motor and remounting the motor to the frame and see if we can't get this thing running. Okay, before we put the carburetor back on, we drained all the gas, but there's like a little divot in the bottom of these tanks where like the water would sit, so it wouldn't go through the hose in the tank. But we're gonna take an air gun and make sure we get every drop out of there. And when you do this, take a rag or something and kind of cover it so you don't get gas in your eyes or anything. Like so, and the rest of the gas shot out of the hose, so that's good too. You don't want to do all this work and leave a little bit of water in the tank and have to start all over again. Okay, so we'll go ahead and slide the carburetor on there. We'll go ahead and reattach the governor linkage. And we'll go ahead and put this spring on there. It goes in that little hole on the side and kind of squeeze that together so that don't come loose. Push it in some more so we can attach the fuel line. Get that pushed down all the way. Go ahead and slide our clamp down. Go ahead and put our choke lever back on. Put this sealing gasket back on there. Put the air cleaner base on and everything. Get them two nuts on there, and then we got that bolt that goes in on the top. And don't over tighten this, make sure they're snug. Okay. I'm gonna put a new air filter on there. And before we start this thing up, always make sure you check your oil. There's on these motors, here's a dipstick on both sides. And if the oil is dirty, go ahead and change it. These particular motors, they use a 1030 oil. And while we got this far on it, we might as well put a new plug in there. Then we can go ahead and bolt it back down to that frame. Put the tank back on so no debris gets back in there. We can go ahead and line this back up and put them bolts back in, and we'll be one step closer to starting this thing up. Okay, we got it bolted down, and always make sure you check your oil. And on water pumps and stuff, I put a little bit of water in here because we don't want to ruin the pump. I'm just going to start it, let it run for a few seconds because I don't feel like buying them guys a new pump. Even like on power washers, never start them up without any source of water going to them, or else you'll burn them up. But check your oil. I did put a new plug in here. Put fresh gas in here. So we'll flip the switch on. Put the choke on. Turn the fuel on. And it runs perfect. And I don't want to run it too long because I don't want to burn out the pump. But anyways, I appreciate you watching the video. Hope you liked it. And if you like my videos, please subscribe and press the like button. Anyways, you guys have a good afternoon. Thanks for watching.